Hello, hello. Welcome to my small Infernal guide. It's been a while since I made one of these. I was explaining how my current build, which has been super efficient for me, works. And I realized that there's actually a bit more to it than I thought, because I'm so used to doing this. I don't think about all the greedy stuff. Like, this is the current most evolved form of my opening. And when I started using this current opening, I shot from like right outside top 300 to all the way to top 200 in like one day. So it's like very effective. So I thought I'd make a small video where I explain how it works. Like the first minute is basically the most important one. I'm gonna show all the matchups, but it's basically the same opening in all of them. So it's a very nice opening in that sense. So I'm starting with Infernal vs Infernal. I'm here in the top right corner. And the thing that happens like right at the start is that you will take your Hexen and 3 imps. Oh, oops. You'll take your Hexen and 3 imps and send them to the health camp. And you're going to take the health camp with these units. And the first very important thing is like, this is very easy to mess up. After they buffed these slimes, whatever these are, in the earlier patch, these turned very tight. So you need to like split their fire between your units. And optimally you don't lose anything. You definitely don't want to use any imps, but you should also get 2 fiends out of this. You don't want to lose either of them either. If you lose one, it's not the end of the world, it's just gonna make your opening less efficient. But ideally you want to keep both alive. So the first thing you need to understand is how the targeting of these guys works. Like they will always target, well, it's a bit random, but they will basically target the closest enemy. So you want to like try to split their fire between your Hexen, which has the most hit points, and your Fiend, your imps. And when something goes too low, you back off, and then you need to be aware that it's going to target the closest enemy, which might be your weak Fiend, like here. Oh yeah, and also when you start the fight, you want to like shift Q attacking all of these slimes in turn, because the imps are just gonna stop attacking after the first unit dies otherwise. And also, like there's a lot happening here right at the very start, and this is very important. Around the time you get your second imp out of the shrine, you want to send an imp to make your first Iron Vault while this fight is still happening. So that's what's happening here. So yeah, have to be very careful with pulling back so that these pins don't die. Enemies will not retarget as long as the target stays in the range. So even though this is like almost dead, it's totally safe. Yep, that went perfectly. Nothing died, and I got my 2 fiends. And then of course you'll stay here and rest. And with the 3 imps you have here, you are going to make a meat farm at the health camp, and you're going to make an expansion at your natural, and the third one can, well, depends on the map, but usually it can just go back to mining. If it's like Isle of Dread, where it's very far from the main, then I usually use it to put down a conclave instead, which is going to be useful later to have it more on the front line. But anyway, that's the first exactly 1 minute. That's where all the magic happens. And this is gonna, it may look a bit difficult, like you will try it and then you will lose like an imp, maybe 2 imps, you lose fiends, like it feels terrible. But once you get the hang of like splitting the fire of the slimes, it's totally doable. And this works against pretty much anything, like that's the nice part. You can hold rushes because you get the early fiends, you can like look for proxies, if it's a Celestial Blade or something. And once your first Iron Vault finishes, you'll get one brute out, and with 2 fiends that's already enough to take the vision camp. Of course, if there's a speed camp, you can like go there with just... Well, I would still wait for the first brute, but it's much easier to start there. But if there's no speed camp, then you'll go for the vision camp with the first brute and 2 fiends. If you did lose 1 fiend, don't try to take the vision camp with just 1 brute and 1 fiend. It's not gonna end very well, so in that case wait for the second brute. So with this opening, we are getting creeping ongoing like very fast. We are making like the minimal amount of units to keep creeping while getting our economy rolling. Okay, I'm not sure what this was doing. This doesn't look right. Anyway, so we'll continue creeping while the enemy does their usual infernal things. You don't really need to worry too much about what they're doing usually. If you notice that they're doing something super aggressive, then of course you can get a very fast Shroud Stone up, because your vault is done very early. Otherwise, if you think there's gonna be like some mid-game aggression, then you would go for fast tier 2 for defense. But basically you just want to keep making more imps and keep your economy rolling. Keep creeping. Yeah, like enemy will see you on the map. He's like, okay, he took the vision camp, he's in a decent mid-game position, like early game position. He's probably not gonna push because he expects there's a lot of units. So there's a bit of mind game here as well, like you saw that he turned around, even though he had a lot more units than me. So of course, after the first Iron Vault, next I'm going to be making a Conclave, because we'll want the Plague Axes fast, and overall, especially in this matchup, you want some guns for damage. And against creeps as well. And once your main is fully saturated, you'll want like 2 guys on Therium and then keep rallying to the Luminite mine, because you want your economy to expand fast. Like at this point, the enemy's shrine is only halfway done, mine is already mining, so I'm already in a very good economic position. And with just a few runes and an increasing amount of fiends, you can easily keep creeping these easy camps. And of course taking advantage of your early health camp to heal up between camps. Probably when you have your first gaunts, you will want to go for the bigger camps on this map. And starting upgrade facilities. Like at this point there really isn't anything that strange happening, just it's good to realize that the economic position with this opening is like so much better. I'm like very far ahead in income at this point, even though the supply may not look like I have any advantage. So this is all the most important part, but I'll show you how the rest of the game plays out to give some idea. Of course you need to be pretty active with your fiends, trying to take these camps and so on. So enemy who... like you don't want to take a battle at this point, so enemy has a bit of a field advantage, but you're getting your upgrades on the way. And once you get to like 5-minute mark, you're gonna have like a lot bigger economy. Can make more units. My third is already on the way. His second isn't fully saturated. We have our upgrades coming. I usually prioritize the brute upgrade over the Magmaron one, because I think Magmaron is a bit out of meta at the moment. You can just make Weavers to hard counter them, so there's not necessarily any need to make Magmarons. Oh yeah, one thing that's an important advantage of this build is that you will get your first tier 2 camp, because you killed this health camp so fast. It's gonna repop faster as well, and that's gonna give you a big resource boost. Like that's easy to overlook, but it's actually pretty significant. In this case I'm a bit slow to take it apparently, but yeah. I guess I'm going for this one. Didn't realize that it's already spawned, but overall you want to kill a tier 2 camp fast. You can see my suppliers already starting to get like a bit ahead at this point. Like my third is almost saturated. You can see there's like a huge difference in workers. And he doesn't even have the other upgrade building yet, that's interesting. So my brute is actually gonna be way stronger. I think I take a bit of a bad fight here, but it's fine. Like it's not terrible, but I shouldn't really be fighting here. Not when I am floating this much money. So in this case, I guess my production is lagging a bit behind. But of course you can also use the top bar ability to refresh your cooldown to get more units. Missed a bit of a skirmish here. He tried pushing my base, but Super Swordstone pushed him back. And I have my tier 3 on the way. Once I get those upgrades, it's just nice. Yeah, there's like it's just a normal game after this point. Like the first 1 minute is basically what is the most important thing. But if you're having trouble figuring out what kind of army to play with, then just in case I'm gonna let these games play to the end and show you how it goes. I think this is gonna be already the attack that ends it. You'll want to get the tier 3 upgrade for Hellborn, like I think that's the highest priority. Like just having one Hellborn with that upgrade makes a huge difference in the army battles, especially in Infernal versus Infernal, but in all matchups to be honest. Like you can see the difference in supply at this point. Because it's just a better economy, you can't really argue with that. And my flame upgrade for Hellborn just finished now, so the remaining of his army just melts. So that's the main idea. I'm gonna show you the same thing against other matchups. So let's see. Okay, this one is against Vanguard. Like Vanguard is the tough one because of the dog. You would think that you can't really do this opening, but in general you can. But there's one important thing you need to remember. If you are not playing on like Furious Resolve, where they probably don't notice you doing this because the health camp is so far away, then you need to send 4 instead of 3. Well, this happens to be Furious Resolve, so it's basically the same thing that I usually do. I'll grab my 3 imps and send them to the health camp. It doesn't matter that it's not on my side, I'll still do the same thing. And then I'll send 1 more imp to make the Iron Vault. But if this wasn't Furious Resolve, I would send 4 imps then. Because I'm gonna need the extra damage and meat to like kill these slimes faster and also to zone out the dog if it like gets on top of my units. Otherwise all my units will be like super low and the dog can just like kill everything. So remember, against Vanguard you want to use 4 in general. This map is like the only exception. Once again you can see that the attacks are already rallied for all of these imps. And also make sure that the Fiend is gonna target the correct enemies once it pops. And my Iron Vault on the way. The enemy may be a bit confused at this point, but he sees the fast Iron Vault, so he's probably not like too shocked by what's going on until he sees the health camp get taken, maybe. And when you send these guys back, you want to be a bit careful like about escorting them, because you have some low health imps and there's the dog on the way. So like we'll have a bit of a skirmish here. He even made a second dog, which is like super unusual. I'm not exactly sure what's up with that, but either way you want to be a bit careful. Like it's more important to protect the imps than be super tight about the timing of the expansion. So once again I'll make a meat farm here to help protect the entrance, and then I'll make my expansion. Oh yeah, this is a bit annoying. I want to make the expansion with one of these guys, but instead it rallied one from my main base. Hate it when that happens. Anyway, everyone else gets back to work. Oh yeah, also on this map I like to make a shroud stone here in the middle, so it can kind of protect both branches here at the entrance, instead of making it like back here, so enemies can just like walk here. Yeah, once again, while I'm waiting for this to finish, I'm rallying my extra workers to Thorium, get a bit of a boost for upgrades. With 2 brutes it's pretty easy to take these vision camps. Try to keep the brutes alive, of course, if you can. Which I'm choking, no problem. Let's get the other health camp to heal up a bit, and also get more resources. So I have my expansion running. He's going to hedgehogs, which is annoying, like that sucks. Let's be honest. Most high level Vanguard are doing it now, and it's very annoying. He's coming for my units, which I kinda predicted, so I'm trying to run away, but I get kinda caught. It's not the end of the world, because once again I'm creeping with a very small amount of units. So even losing these doesn't really matter. Like, it's not an army, it's just a squad I'm sending out to kill some creep camps. So like was a terrible fight for me, but it doesn't really matter because I have my defenses up. I have my Greater Shrine, so I'm totally fine defending. My economy is good. I'm gonna get my upgrades on the way. Like when you see hedgehogs, you basically know they're gonna push you to like 2 base, so that's the hard part. You'll probably have to defend on like 2 bases for a bit until you get like a decent amount of coins with upgrades. But you will be fine defending because you have the super tower. And it's a very nice defensive setup. He killed the super tower, but it was very expensive for him, so it's like totally fine. Unity my supply is starting to explode at this point, because of course my economy is just way better. He's still on 1 base. And I'm starting to take 3rd base now. Like, you always want to secure it with shroud stones first against hedgehogs. Then you're also able to reinforce it with a super shroud stone if needed. At this point, it's a pretty good situation already. Like, of course, you want to be mindful that Vanguard usually will go for helicarriers if you give them some time to breathe. So that might always happen, but if they don't, then you should be totally fine. But basically you can see how this opening works against Vanguard as well. I just show you the rest of the match, even though there's nothing that special about it. We are just working on our upgrades and getting our tier 3 incoming with the Twilight Spire. And 3rd is saturated, then we are taking our 4th for Mortarium as well, and there comes more Elder Shrine. I really love these fast tier 3 upgrades. They are super strong in all matchups. Especially the Hellborn one, I think that's the most important one. The Magmaron one is also very, very good against like specific armies. He's doing the usual path of hedgehogs into Vulcans, but Vulcan is kind of... I don't think it's very useful in this meta because Weavers hard counter them. Since the map has a siege camp, I may as well take it. Once you have Weavers, you can kill this camp very easily. This is just a minor detail about tactics, but I like to put my brutes inside of Harbinger. It's a very nice way to get them on top of enemies. Get a bit of a surround and so on. Right, our one fight is happening here, but yeah, once again these Vulcans don't really do anything with Beavers on the field. There's the rest of this army and this game is basically over. Right, so that was Vanguard. If they don't rush out helicarriers, it's a very solid tactic. I can't really offer much advice against helicarriers. They're kind of busted at the moment, but don't worry about that. Just especially if you're on a bit lower of a mark, probably not a problem. It's mostly top players who are very annoying with them. So then we got Celestial. Against Celestial, this is actually even better because they like to do all kinds of proxies. For example, you get the super fast fiends, which will help you scout them out. And if they're doing some economic opening, maybe you can even snipe a building or something like that. Here we are. Doing the usual thing. Sending out 3 imps with my Hexen to take the health camp, which is on this time on my side. The enemy is right next to me on the map, which is pretty nasty against Celestial because they have a lot of harass potential, like for example flying an arc ship from here to kill the base. It's very annoying late game. Once again trying to split the fire and positioning these up a bit better to make it even, and works out pretty well. Like all of them except this one are getting attacked, so that's good. Now this is not optimal, like you can see how Pathing basically killed that. It got locked in there, that's not great. And remember, if imp goes very low for whatever reason, you can always save it by turning it into a meat farm, which you will want anyway. So this time I end up with only 1 fiend. It happens. It's annoying, but not very too much about it. The optimal outcome is getting 2 fiends out of it, but it can be a bit hard sometimes, especially when Pathing betrays you. And I got my first brute out. I'm gonna scout what the enemy is doing, since I see that he took the health camp, which usually means if you see the fast health camp taken, it means that they used their ability to take it. So it's probably on cooldown now. There might be some buildings that are very weak, so I'm like, oh, that's a soft target, let's see if I can kill it. I have my Conclave on the way, I have my expansion on the way. Yeah, got a free building. And this one is building. I have 2 brutes here now, maybe I can kill that too. Sending back my... yeah, that's very good damage. Sending back my Hexen to heal. Like, this is annoying, but they don't deal that much damage. And I have more units rallying here. So this is actually a super good opening for me already. I'm dealing so much damage. He used the beam ability, which is a bit annoying. So I just run away from that. And then I'll continue my work. Now I have my conclave is finished. I'm sending over some clones as well, so I can deal with this. So I'm like, yeah, okay, maybe I can just close the game right here. Or use the beam again, that's kind of annoying. But this building is almost dead, so I think I can ignore it. There we go, yeah. At this point the game is already kind of over, so you can see how this works against Celestial in like aggressive situations as well. And meanwhile, I have like expansion running. So my economy is just getting better all the time while I'm doing this. So it's not like some rush build. So you can see how it works against Celestial. Okay, he just left the game. No, this one's over. So it's basically always the same opening. There's one exception. In addition to remembering that you need to send over 4 imps against Vanguard to be safe against the dog. One specific map is Titan's Causeway. If you're playing Titan's Causeway against Infernal, you will also need to send 4 imps. Because otherwise you will basically automatically lose. For the simple reason that the rush distance is very short, and if they send the Hexen to scout, which almost everyone does, it's gonna go right past your health camp and see you fighting here. So you need to rush this out like really fast with 4 imps. Kill this as fast as possible, like don't worry about targeting too much with 4 imps, it's a server anyway. Like you just want to finish killing these off before the enemy Hexen gets here. If it gets here, if you are doing this with 3, the enemy Hexen is gonna arrive here before you finish, and then all of your units are very low hit points. It's just gonna kill you, and you're like the remaining units, and you're dead. Like you can see how low my Hexen is going, for example. It would be very easy pickings. And it's not like my Fiend has much hit points either. Actually got killed by that Pathing again. That's always lovely. But still, I'm finishing the job here. Well, like you can see how close it is with the enemy Hexen getting here, like just when I'm finishing. So this would not be possible on this map against 3 enemies. Making sure I save that one guy. He's trying to dive for my Hexen, which is low hit points, but he's kind of overextending. And now he leaves the game because he lost his Hexen, so you can see how it works on this map. The opposite would have happened if I tried doing this with 3 imps. I would have lost my Hexen and probably like a lot of other units too. But often this opening lets you kill the enemy Hexen, which gives you like an instant win. So, let me know in the comments if you have any questions. I'll try to answer them. I was hopefully able to show you how it works. And I think it's a very effective opening that no one else is basically doing yet, although I've been trying to spread the good word. So that's all. Peace out.